Welcome to the Deep Dive by 5W Media. Today we're tackling a really crucial topic, developing positive and effective leaders.
Yeah, it's definitely top of mind for a lot of organizations.
For sure. And you've shared just a fantastic collection of resources. We've got everything from like practical team building games to some really deep thinking on emotional intelligence and, well, how leadership itself is changing.
Right. The whole landscape seems to be
It
shifting.
really does. So
Yeah.
our mission today is to kind of synthesize all these insights, pull out the key nuggets, what really makes a leader effective in today's world.
Okay, let's jump in.
All right. So starting with the foundations, what's striking you first?
Well, what jumps out immediately across pretty much all the sources is this clear idea that effective leadership today goes way beyond just the traditional business skills.
Right. Not just strategy and finance anymore.
Exactly. The emphasis is much more on, fostering genuine human connection, enabling growth in others.
Yeah. The materials definitely highlight qualities like instilling deep trust, managing ambiguity, which is huge these days.
Absolutely.
Meeting inclusively and, like you said, helping people reach their potential. It feels like these aren't just nice to haves anymore.
No, they're presented as fundamentals, core requirements, really.
And one thing that just keeps popping up everywhere is emotional intelligence, EQ.
Ah, yes, EQ. It really is positioned as a game changer.
How so? I mean, we hear the term a lot.
Well, the sources don't just treat it as a soft skill.
Okay.
It's framed as the actual mechanism for how leaders navigate the complexities of, people, teams, human behavior.
Okay.
It covers understanding your own emotions, understanding others, regulating them effectively,
Right.
and then using that awareness to guide how you interact. We're talking specifically self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, of course, social awareness, relationship management,
Yeah.
all those pieces.
It seems, kind of intuitive that a leader with those skills would be better, but the sources really hammer home the tangible results, don't they?
They absolutely do. Clear links to higher trust levels in teams, better employee retention, which is massive, and just more engagement overall.
So what's the actual shift then, when a leader really uses their EQ, not just understands the concepts?
I think the key shift, based on what we read, is about turning potential conflict into collaboration
Okay.
and channeling individual drives towards a collective goal. By understanding and responding well to emotions, you create this environment where people feel seen, they feel valued.
And motivated.
Exactly. Motivated to bring their best.
That makes a lot of sense. And kind of building on that emotional understanding, there's also a huge emphasis on integrity, honesty, ethical standards.
Oh, definitely. Bedrock principles. One source specifically calls them out for entrepreneurial leaders.
Right. How did that play out?
Well, leaders who consistently show integrity, they build this climate of trust that's almost unshakable. They're not afraid of the truth, even when it's tough. They stand by their ethical beliefs. And the interesting thing is, this doesn't just build loyalty with customers.
Yeah.
It can actually boost profits. Because you foster transparency, accountability, it all ties together.
So the definition of an effective leader has definitely broadened. It's evolved. What does that mean for how we actually develop these leaders? The old ways might not work anymore, right?
That's a critical point, and the sources really dig into this. There's a growing sense that traditional, one-size-fits-all leadership programs, they often fall short.
How so? Too generic.
Yeah, too generic, sometimes exclusionary, and often just not lined up with what the business actually needs strategically.
Okay.
Successful programs today are much more intentional. They're directly linked to business goals, and they're designed to create leaders who get things like DEI, hybrid work.
The changing values of a workforce.
Precisely. They need to be attuned to all of that.
So it's about relevance, personalization. And it sounds like maybe making development more accessible too, not just for the top brass.
Exactly right. There's a clear trend towards democratizing leadership development, spreading those opportunities much more widely through the organization.
Interesting.
And we're also seeing a big uptick in the recognized value of relationship-based development, coaching and mentoring specifically.
Okay. What's the distinction they draw?
So the research tends to define coaching as guidance from external professional advisors.
Right.
Whereas mentoring is more about leaning on experienced folks, could be internal, could be external for their wisdom and advice.
Gotcha.
And leading companies see both as, frankly, indispensable now. They offer that tailored support.
So it's not just teaching more skills, but also focusing on those maybe less concrete, more strategic things, like fostering innovation or leading hybrid teams effectively.
Yes, exactly. That's a big shift from just focusing on, say, operational management.
Okay, so if that's the landscape, what about practical steps? What can you, the learner, actually do to develop these capabilities?
While the sources offer quite a few concrete actions, it really starts with looking inward. Self-reflection, self-awareness.
Makes sense. Got to know where you're starting from.
Right. Using self-assessment quizzes, maybe journaling regularly. These can give you real insights into your style, your strengths, and, crucially, your growth areas.
Okay. And beyond self-awareness.
Communication.
Yeah.
Absolutely fundamental.
Always.
And one resource highlighted not just what you say, but how you say it, your delivery.
Ah, the delivery piece.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah. So actively asking for feedback specifically on how you communicate, that's a really direct way to improve.
Good practical tip. What else?
Empathy and social awareness come up again and again. Truly trying to understand others' emotions, reading team dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Practicing active really listening and being culturally aware.
Yep.
Super important in diverse teams.
Continuous learning is in there too, I notice.
Yep.
Formal courses, certificates.
Yep. They can build confidence, introduce new frameworks, and feedback. Can't stress that enough. Actively seeking it out from different levels.
And really processing it, even when it stings a bit.
Especially when it stings a bit. The material suggests that if feedback hits a nerve, triggers a strong reaction, there might be a nugget of truth in there worth exploring.
Ooh, that's a good point. A tough one, but good.
It is. And then back to mentoring and coaching, they keep surfacing as powerful tools for personalizing development, helping you navigate that tricky thing called organizational culture.
Right, which is often unwritten rules.
Exactly. And leading organizations are trying to make these more inclusive, more tailored now.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. It's not just about the individual leader, is it?
Yeah.
The sources also talk a lot about team building, collaboration.
Oh, absolutely. Not just the individual. Team building activities, games. Several sources highlighted how effective these can be.
In what way? Just icebreakers?
More than that, they can spark real conversations, generate ideas, even just inject some fun, which is important.
Yeah, lower stress.
Exactly. And those shared experiences build cooperation, help teams actually tackle work problems together.
We saw some fun examples like the game of possibilities with just a napkin.
Right. Simple but insightful.
Or drop the ball for collaborative problem solving.
Yeah.
Even the lifeboat game. That one sounded intense, making those priority calls.
It does, but it really highlights negotiation, understanding different needs within the team, vital skills.
And things like, this is my life.
Yeah.
Or the cartoon character. One, help people connect on a more personal level, right? Build rapport.
Precisely. It creates a more relaxed, connected vibe. And even something like, I admire others, that helps people see their own potential by recognizing good qualities elsewhere.
Huh. Interesting angle.
And hey, never underestimate a quick Nerf ball break for just blowing off steam.
Huh. True enough.
Yeah.
It all points to the idea that a great team is more than just the sum of its tasks.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Which leads us naturally into culture and values.
Yes, that felt huge in the resources.
Absolutely paramount. Building a strong, positive culture is a recurring theme. One source really stressed hiring the best people and then uniting them with a compelling culture. That's the magic combo.
And sharing sunshine? What was that about?
Sunshine, basically tangible benefits, recognition, things that reinforce a supportive, appreciative environment, showing people they're valued in concrete ways.
I like the point about balancing the quick wins, the dopamine hits from metrics with the slower rewards.
Yeah.
Joy, safety, belonging,
Mm-hmm.
the serotonin and oxytocin stuff.
Yes. That holistic view of well-being is so important. You need both for a thriving team.
And the concept of servant leadership really jumped out at me. It feels like such a contrast to older models.
It really is. It's prioritizing the growth and well-being of the people you lead rather than just, exercising power.
So sharing power, focusing on others' needs.
Exactly. Empowering people to develop and perform at their best. It's a fundamental shift.
Okay, but even with great leaders and culture, challenges happen, right? Businesses face obstacles. What did the sources say about navigating those?
Yeah, challenges are inevitable. A big one, especially for emerging leaders, is managing conflict.
Ah, yes. Always tricky.
The data showed a lot of newer leaders really struggle with this. So developing skills like Clarifying the real issue, offering support, empowering the team to find solutions, that's key.
And optimism. The sort of mention that, but not in a naive way.
No, not naive optimism. It's about being realistic, acknowledging the difficulties, but still holding a grounded belief in a positive future, achieved through collaboration, mutual support, even when things are tough.
Right. And focusing on a culture of growth rather than just static performance.
Yes. That seemed much more sustainable, encouraging, recognizing, rewarding development itself, not just hitting a target once. That creates more valuable team members long term.
And allowing for pockets of chaos. That sounded intriguing.
Yeah. It means while structure is needed, sometimes you need to pull new, innovative projects out of the usual bureaucracy. Give them space to experiment, to play, without rigid rules stifling them.
Fostering innovation by loosening the reins a bit.
Sort of, yeah, in controlled ways.
Okay, one last major theme. Strategic thinking. Not just for the C-suite anymore.
That's a really crucial evolution they highlighted. The idea is to encourage everyone at all levels to constantly look for ways to contribute to the bigger picture.
And how does that look in practice?
It involves thinking beyond your own silo, your own function, being an agile learner, challenging assumptions, asking why do we do it this way, spotting opportunities.
So cultivating that mindset across the board.
Exactly. And practices like actually scheduling time to think strategically, inviting different views, even dissent, and using both focused, convergent, and broad, divergent thinking.
Okay, wow. We covered a lot of ground. Let's try and synthesize this for you, the learner.
Good idea.
Developing positive, effective leadership.
Yeah.
It's clearly a journey, isn't it? Multifaceted, ongoing.
Definitely not a destination you just arrive at.
Right. It needs that strong foundation.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence, ethics, a real commitment to learning, getting feedback.
Continuously.
And the ability to build that collaborative, growth-focused culture. Ultimately, it seems, the most impactful leaders prioritize their people's well-being and growth.
While keeping efforts aligned with the bigger organizational goals, that strategic piece is key.
Absolutely. We really hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights, maybe sparked a few aha moments. Based on all this, what stands out most to you as critical for developing effective leaders today?
And maybe as you think about that, consider this. What's just one concrete step, just one thing you can start doing, maybe even today, to bring one of these principles into your own approach? Doesn't matter what your role is right now.
Great closing thought. If you like what you are hearing from us, please subscribe. Also, if you would like and share this video, it helps us tremendously and means so much to us. Please also leave a comment. We want to know what you think and value ideas you might have for future podcasts. Thanks for tuning in.